welcome to the news on Canal English. Good evening, I am Elie Smith. The headlines. Another motor accident in Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon. Our reporter Joel Dumbo will in this newscast be telling us what happened. The mayor and prefect for the Upper Sanaga division united in one cause. But what is it? Leslie Fombo tells us that it is about corruption or mismanagement. But who is mismanaging who? That is what he will be telling us in this newscast. The year is coming to an end, but our security forces are busy fine-tuning their arts in asymmetric warfare against our number one enemy, Boko Haram. Our reporter, Leslie Fombo, once again, will be telling us that the training took place in the Adamawa region, precisely in Ngaoundere. Those were the headlines. Once again, a very warm welcome here on Canal English, and good evening. We'll be beginning this note on a positive one. Mr. Fongod Edwin is the new General Manager of Customs. He was appointed today by presidential decree. He hails from Bali Nyonga in the Mezam division of the Northwest region. He is the second Anglophone from the same village and the same subdivision to be appointed as General Manager of Cameroon's Customs. His predecessor was Raymond Dinga Guanyala. We wish Mr. The first from, not the predecessor, but the first from the same division was Raymond Dinga Guanyala, for which the new customs manager, or the general manager of customs, Mr. Fongod Edwin, the best of luck in his new function. Well, we are leaving that story on the appointment of Mr. Fongod Edwin as the new general manager of the Cameroon Customs to another story. This time around is the merry-go-round of motor accidents in the Cameroon's capital, Yaoundé. This time around, it's around the neighborhood between a stretches of road, a Tudi and Tongolo in the capital. What and what happened? Joel Dumbo was there and brings back this report.
A severe dispute between a group of men, all very bitter about one. Lonely beside one of the accidented cars, meditating on the drama he just orchestrated. 10 vehicles of different brands, taxi and private, new and old. Different indeed, but with one fate. They were all hit in a chain accident along the Tudi-Tongolo traffic light stretch of road. We are in Yaoundé.
Back in the economic capital of Cameroon, that is Douala, it was forever last week, and now it is Marché Congo. But what has both neighborhoods got in common? They are both located in Douala, and fire has consumed the homes of a family. How and why did it happen? Just like last week, Ndi Morin has the rest of the story.
Shock, panic and consternation, this is the present atmosphere at the Congo market in Cameroon's economic city, Douala. An apartment building constructed close to the market was completely razed by wildfire, leaving its occupants without a roof. The fire broke out Saturday night, breaking Sunday. Occupants say they were surprised by the fire, which consumed all their belongings. We arrived when the fire had already consumed everything. This time we cannot say it was caused by a short circuit. We had lights even when the fire was consuming the building. The origin of the fire is yet to be established. The fire comes to add to others in the city of Douala. Administrative officials have called on inhabitants to be more careful, especially this festive period. Have called on inhabitants to be careful this festive period, especially as people's attention are caught elsewhere.
Do you know anything about Gandu? If not, don't worry. It was Cameroon's own perfume manufacturing company. But the problem with this company is simple. It went up in flames 24 months ago, and the workers of that company since then have not been paid. Once again, D. Morin has the details.
Wuri's senior divisional officer and police officials called to mediate a strike action by workers of La Parfumerie Gando in Bonneberry in Cameroon's economic city takes another twist. The disgruntled workers this December 21 took to the streets decrying what they have described as injustice. When I was 25 years, I did not receive any indemnities or compensation. By then, we were demanding to be awarded medals. Today, we want our rights to be respected. They should pay us off. The workers are gradually dying off. At school, our children don't school anymore because we don't have the means. The Libanese is trying to be wise by removing some of his assets from the company. We are ready to die here. We want him to pay us off or nothing. The case is in court, pending judgment. The proprietor, or Lebanese, takes another harsh decision by trying to take out some of the company assets without the knowledge of the former workers. This provoked tension on the part of the former workers who demand to know their status. Parfumerie Gando in Bonneberry, it should be noted, was raised down by wild flames some 24 months ago, leaving the workers stranded.
Officials of the Minta Council in the Nangai Boko says all is not well with the management of funds by the PNDP. During a council session aimed at adopting the 2016 budget, the mayor and prefect for Upper Sandaga openly attacked an agent of PNDP. Leslie Fombo has the details.
All did not go well during the adoption of the 2016 budget in Minta, in the Minta Council in Nangai Boko. The mayor openly attacked an agent of PNDP over what he termed the mismanagement of funds. This had to do with close to 100 million francs CFA destined for vital projects in the area. The mayor was also disgruntled over the mismanagement of funds meant for the motivation of participants at the meeting. The projects have been annulled and given to other communities. We don't know the criteria and how, and now we have problems with the projects carved out in our locality. The PNDP is not serious. They send an agent to this very important meeting. They are not serious at all. We cannot take this. The prefect for the Upper Sandaga was also disgruntled. Both officials frowned at the fact that the transport fare for the close to 100 participants had been mismanaged. At the end of the day, the participants finally adopted the development program for Minta. 19 councillors finally said yes to the 2016 budget for the Minta Council.
The problem in Nangai Boko is not only about the unity between the prefect and the mayor to drive out an agent suspected of corruption. They also have another problem, that is the scarcity of tomatoes, which means that as Christmas is around, there are many people in that locality who will be cooking without that precious fruit. Once again, Leslie Fombo has more.
Inhabitants of Nangai Boko might not have tomatoes to spice their delicacies during this end-of-year festivities. Inhabitants, especially women, will need this spice to prepare food to be consumed during the feast are worried. At the markets, traders who deal in tomatoes are also worried. Tomatoes are very expensive in the markets now because of the scarcity we are experiencing. Maybe tomato farmers are having problems. Tomatoes are really expensive because of the scarcity. Dealers in Christmas toys and other Christmas decorations saying people are not coming in to buy. They say most of the buyers are complaining of a lack of means. In a bid to solve the problem, the Divisional Delegation of Commerce for the Upper Senegal has announced promotional sales in a bid to solve this problem. We are doing everything possible to make sure the end-of-year festivities unveil perfectly. At the Regional Delegation of Commerce, we plan to organize a fair to sell at promotional prices. At Minta, a locality in Nangai Boko, consumers of the most precious liquor in Cameroon, beer, might be going with dry throats. The liquor is said to be very scarce.
The pupil of the Coccinelle Unity School were of no short of joy as the wife of the head of state, Chantal Biya, was there with a unique moment, and Beatrice Ngamo was with them and has the details. Well, that story is not yet ready, and we think that we shall be going to the greater north of the country, that is in the Adamawa region, precisely in Ngaoundéré, where, as I announced at the introduction of this news, while Christmas is around, our security forces are not sleeping. They are busy fine-tuning their art in asymmetric warfare. On the rest, Leslie Fombo once again.
For quite some time now, all has not been well with Cameroon's borders. Gun battles between Cameroon's military and Boko Haram insurgents have increased in the past months. This has resulted to the death of innocent civilians and Boko Haram insurgents. In Ngaoundéré, these military men are being trained on new techniques to combat the terrorist group. Close to 40 military men have just graduated from a training course on how to detonate bombs. They are of the Military Engineering Regiment in Ngaoundéré. They were also trained on how to fight using new techniques, which they say remains a military affair. Colonel Jackson Kamgam is head of the Ngaoundéré Military Engineering Regiment. Due to the serious fight against Boko Haram, the authorities that they have decided to reinforce the capacity of the Cameroonian army focuses on the training of agents who can detonate bombs. The training is being spearheaded by the French, who were present at the graduation ceremony. The same, this is part of French support to curb Boko Haram attacks in Cameroon.
While we talk about sustainable development, those who are representing us are not put aside. That is, MPs and senators, they were busy charting on how to avert the consequences of deforestation. Our reporter, Henry Kejang Atembe, was there and brought back this report.
Members of Parliament of the Central African Sub-Region are in Douala to review documents on the sustainable management of forest ecosystems and the reduction of carbon emissions. Coming on the heels of the 21st Conference of Parties Summit that took place in Paris, the Douala Conclave focuses on the putting in place of REDD+ mechanism. The MPs and senators say their work will help them better defend the case of indigenous people in the sustainable management of their forest and biodiversity as a whole. The Douala meeting was an opportunity for the parliamentarians and senators to learn from the experiences of their colleagues who were part of the COP21 summit dedicated for the reduction of ozone-depleting substances.
Has this any connection? Perhaps because we're talking about deforestation. The dry season is around, and according to utility companies in this country, the reason why water has been rationed in the cities of Douala, Yaoundé, and other major towns in the country is because of what? Because of dry season. Beatrice Ngamo was with them and brought back this report.
Absence of rains for over 1 month in Yaoundé and environs has given way to dryness and thirst, enough reason for the increase in water demand. Worsened as additional water sources such as wells and boreholes alongside streams are drying up. Climate change is responsible for this change in water supply all over the national territory.
In the period of it's hot and it's dry, so the demand of water is too high, and this situation make the consumption of water in very high.
And as such, many households use potable water for different household activities, which was not the case before. So, supply cannot match up demand, but which does not in any way affect quality.
Quality of water is good. There is no problem of quality. The water that we produce and that we distribute in our network is conform of Mondial Organization of Health.
To balance the problem of scarcity in the political capital of Cameroon, CDE has been implementing for the past 2 weeks now rationing.
So sometimes we have some problems, but in general we are able to have to maîtrise, excuse my English, to maîtrise the situation.
As the actors affirmed that by the end of the month of January 2016, the problem will be something of the past, especially with the operationalization of the new unit of potable water at Akomnyada. This was during a statutory meeting grouping the state, CDE, and partners December 21st in Yaoundé.
To something else, we talk about culture. Cameroon's most renowned saxophonist. I guess you know him already. If you don't, his name is Manu Dibango. This just concluded Sunday on stage where at the Lonkak Evangelical Church Parish in Yaoundé. Lonkak is a neighborhood in Yaoundé, and our reporter Joel Dumbo was there and brought back this report.
Eglise Evangelique of Cameroon styled Jazz Concert Ground. Manu Dibango, the only and only saxophonist, live during a traditional Sunday worship, singing Sango Yesu Christo. Wonderful menu for Christians of the Lonkak Parish as they begin celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. The number of snapshots, just like in a live concert, in this Android generation of ours.
That's really the first time I do this type of playing in church.
For the guitarist, pianist, and others of the Echo Celeste Choir, it is a 15-minute instant show worth a live palmarès. Offertories, gospel songs, and more to furnish this Sunday worship at the Eglise Evangelique of Cameroon, Lonkak Parish. Concluded with this beautiful cake. There was spiritual enrichment, joy, pastry, englobed within a show proper to Manu Dibango to say,
Merry Christmas to everybody.
Out of Cameroon, we are going to the West African state of Burkina Faso, where an international arrest warrant has been issued against former Burkinabe president, Captain Blaise Compaoré. He is wanted for crimes against humanity. For a reminder, Blaise Compaoré was president of Burkina Faso for 27 years before being driven away from power in a popular uprising. We still stay out of Cameroon, and FIFA president or former president Sepp Blatter and UEFA boss Michel Platini have been suspended for 8 years from all football-related activities following an ethics investigations. Christelle Catala has the details.
Sepp Blatter and UEFA boss Michel Platini were found guilty of breaches surrounding a $2 million disloyal payment made for Platini in 2011. The FIFA Ethics Committee found Blatter and Platini had demonstrated an abusive execution of their positions. 79-year-old Blatter said he would fight for him and FIFA. And Platini replied that the decision was a masquerade intended to dirty his name. Both men continued to deny wrongdoing and intend to appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Swiss Blatter and 60-year-old Frenchman Platini have also been fined $40,000 and $80,000 respectively. FIFA boss since 1998, Blatter had already announced he was quitting with the presidential election in February. Platini was tipped as a future leader of football's world governing body and is a three-time European Footballer of the Year. He is also a former captain of France and has been in charge of UEFA European football's governing body since 2007.
That was all we were able to put together today in our newscast. Tomorrow is another day, God willing.